Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into some really interesting material you sent over.
Yeah, we've got a listener's reflection titled Don Katanton, all about their experience with the Montessori Toddler by Simone Davies.
And there's also a summary of the book's core lessons.
Exactly. So our mission today is, well, more than just a summary. We want to pull out the really valuable stuff for you.
Right, to give you a solid grasp of Montessori principles for toddlers and, how they might actually change things day to day.
And the spark for this, according to the reflection, was fascinating.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
Just seeing a toddler, a really young child, doing everyday things totally independently.
Like what?
Setting the table, pouring their own drink, even cleaning up a small spill, all without an adult jumping in.
Wow. Yeah, seeing that would definitely make you think, wouldn't it? It makes you question your assumptions.
Absolutely. It challenges how we often see young kids. And it leads us right into the first big idea.
Which is?
The Montessori concept of toddlers as absorbent minds in motion.
Okay, absorbent minds in motion. I mean, usually I think toddlers need me to show them every single step. So what does that phrase really capture?
It's a really fundamental shift. Instead of seeing them as empty vessels needing constant instruction, Montessori recognized that toddlers are just constantly soaking up everything from their environment, through their senses, their experiences.
Like little sponges.
Exactly, like sponges, constantly absorbing the mood, how you talk, how you handle things. So, modeling calmness when you're frustrated actually teaches them emotional regulation way better than a lecture ever could.
Right. The reflection mentioned that, didn't it? Modeling gentle behavior, making gratitude just part of how you talk.
Yeah, instead of ordering them say thank you,
Yeah.
you just live it.
So it's less about direct teaching and more about curating the environment and being a certain way yourself within it.
Precisely. The focus shifts from constant directing to, thoughtfully preparing the space and being mindful of your own example, which ties perfectly into the next really powerful point, the importance of early independence.
Ah, yes, this definitely stood out from the listener's notes, the idea that we might be the ones holding toddlers back.
Often completely unintentionally. We just assume they can't do things.
Right, because it's quicker or easier for us to just do it for them.
Exactly. Or just habit.
Yeah.
The book and the reflection, they really push you to ask, wait, what could my child do if I just gave them the space?
And the examples given were so simple, like laying out 2 shirts for them to choose from.
Or providing a small jug they can actually handle for pouring water. Not huge, complex things.
No, just everyday stuff. And the reflection highlighted the impact. It's not just about getting the task done.
No, it's about that feeling they get, that sense of pride, the confidence boost. It's huge.
It's respecting their drive to be capable, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the dignity of their independence, even when they're so small.
Dignity of independence. I like that. Okay, so we're seeing toddlers as absorbent learners. We're fostering independence. What's next? The notes mention toddler time.
Yes.
Oh.
Anyone who spends time with toddlers will probably feel this one.
Tell me about it.
It's basically about the different clocks we run on. Adults often have this fast-paced agenda, but toddlers, they operate on a much, much slower time scale.
I know this one. The morning rush to get out the door, feeling like you're pulling them along.
That's the classic example, and the friction comes when we try to force them onto our schedule.
Right.
So the experiment described in the reflection was just consciously slowing down. During dressing, putting on shoes.
And what happened?
More cooperation. It's fascinating.
It really seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? You think rushing saves time, but it just creates resistance.
Exactly. The idea is when you slow down and give them that space, toddlers often step up. They want to participate.
You just have to allow for their time.
Precisely. Give them the time they need, and they often surprise you. Which brings us to another crucial piece. Understanding tantrums.
Ah, the meltdowns. Yes.
The notes suggested a reframe here, seeing them not just as defiance.
Yeah, the key insight is viewing tantrums often as communication. Not necessarily intentional manipulation, but
what?
a signal. A sign that they're overwhelmed by big feelings and literally don't have the brain wiring yet to manage them effectively. They need help co-regulating.
Okay, so instead of thinking, how do I make this stop right now?
Right, the focus shifts. It becomes, what feeling is my child expressing? What do they need right now?
So validation comes first.
Exactly. The example given was acknowledging the feeling like, I see you're really upset. It's so frustrating when that happens.
Without necessarily giving in to the demand that caused it.
Precisely. It validates their experience, helps them feel seen, and that alone can often just diffuse the whole situation. It takes the power struggle out. It's about connection in that moment, not correction.
Okay.
And then there's the prepared environment. That sounds very Montessori.
It's absolutely core. The idea is simple but profound. Set up the child's space specifically to support their independence and exploration.
So, practical terms, what does that look like?
Well, the reflection gave a great example. Reorganizing a play area. Getting rid of clutter. Using low shelves the child can actually reach. Making sure everything visible has a purpose and a place.
Okay, and the effect.
A noticeable shift. Instead of flitting from one toy to another, the child engaged in longer periods of focused play.
Makes sense. Less visual noise, less physical barrier.
Exactly. It reduces the chaos both outside and, likely, inside their heads. It empowers them to choose and engage on their own terms.
Which seems to lead into the next point. Say less, show more. I am definitely guilty of over-explaining things to toddlers.
Oh, it's so common. We think we're being helpful, giving all the details.
Yeah.
But toddlers often process information much better visually and through doing. They learn by watching and imitating.
So less talking, more doing.
Pretty much. The example in the notes was great. Just silently starting to put blocks away.
And the toddler just joined in? Without nagging.
Spontaneously joined in. It shows respect for their ability to observe, understand, and participate without needing a constant stream of instructions.
It's like trusting their intelligence.
It is. And this ties into how we react to their efforts, too, which brings us to praise versus encouragement. A subtle difference, but important.
Right, moving beyond just saying good job all the time. Why is that distinction important?
Well, the goal is to foster intrinsic motivation. We want kids to feel proud of their own effort and accomplishment, not just do things to get our approval.
Okay, so good job is external validation. What's the alternative?
Descriptive encouragement. You focus on the process, the effort, the specific action.
Can you give an example?
Sure. So instead of good job on the puzzle, you might say, wow, you worked really hard finding where all those pieces fit.
Ah, I see. Or instead of good job sharing.
Maybe, I saw you offered the truck to your friend. That was kind. You're describing the positive action and its impact.
So it helps them recognize their own effort and positive behaviors, building internal pride.
Exactly. And really, all these different ideas, independence, toddler time, tantrums as communication, the environment, showing, not telling, encouragement, they all point to one central theme.
Which is?
That ultimately, effective parenting, especially in these early years, is about connection, not control.
That feels like the heart of it. Based on these sources, build the relationship first.
Yes. When that secure attachment, that feeling of being seen and understood is strong, cooperation tends to follow much more naturally.
So when faced with tricky behavior,
The first question, as suggested in the reflection, shouldn't be, how do I stop this? But maybe, does this child feel safe, seen, understood right now?
because the misbehavior might actually stem from a feeling of disconnection.
It often does. Or an unmet need. Focusing on strengthening that connection, that relationship, can often resolve the surface-level behavioral issues more effectively than focusing only on discipline.
It's a shift in perspective. Focus on the relationship, not just the rules.
Precisely. And to wrap things up neatly, the sources also distilled 10 key lessons from the book.
Oh, great. A quick summary. Let's hear them.
Okay, number 1, encourage independence.
Yeah.
Let them do for themselves.
2, create a prepared environment. Set up their space for success.
3, follow the child's lead. Observe their interests and support them. Like if they're obsessed with pouring, find safe ways for them to pour.
Makes sense. 4,
Use positive language. Speak respectfully. Focus on encouragement.
5, establish routines. Predictability helps them feel secure.
6, encourage problem solving. Let them try to figure things out. Don't jump in too fast.
Okay. 7,
Limit screen time.
that.
Prioritize real-world, hands-on stuff.
8, be patient and present. Really be with them, even in mundane moments.
9, model respect and empathy. Show them how you want them to treat others.
And finally, 10.
Celebrate mistakes as learning opportunities. Help them see errors not as failures, but as chances to learn.
That's a fantastic recap. It really pulls it all together.
Yeah.
So fundamentally, this deep dive suggests that the Montessori approach for toddlers is really built on, well, trust.
Trust in their abilities, yes. And fostering independence, understanding their unique way of being in the world.
And building that strong connection above all else.
Exactly. It's presented as a path that's maybe less about struggle and control and more about harmony and respect, a more joyful way to navigate these intense but amazing early years.
It sounds like a really different way of thinking about interacting with toddlers. So for you listening, here's a final thought to maybe chew on. Think about just one small interaction you have regularly with a toddler. It could be getting dressed, mealtime, playtime, and consider trying just one of these ideas. Maybe you consciously slow down for 5 minutes. Maybe you rearrange just one shelf to make toys more accessible.
It's just a small experiment.
Exactly. Just try one thing and observe. See what happens. What might you learn about that child's capabilities? And, maybe just as importantly, what might you learn about your own assumptions? It could be quite revealing.